which leads us on to a very interesting fight between Modestas Bukauskas versus Jimmy Crute. I'm very much looking forward to this one. This has got all the potential to be a great fight. Who have you guys got for this one?
Yeah, this one should be great. I mean, these are two up-and-coming light heavyweights. I think Crute's he's had a couple UFC fights already. Bukauskas has only had one, but he was veteran of in the Cage Warriors. Bukauskas, I think he's got the length and he has a nice jab to kind of keep that distance with Crute. But I think what's going to be his downfall is I think Crute will eventually be able to either press him up against the cage or eventually get him on the mat. And I think he ends up submitting him. I'm going to go with a second round submission. But if you like betting the dogs and if you think Bukauskas can keep him at range and pick him apart, it might not be a bad underdog pick, but I'm going to stick with Crute getting it done. I think his wrestling is going to be too much, and that has seemed to be Bukauskas' weakness in the past is his wrestling game. So I think that may be his downfall here. I'm going to go with Crute by submission in the second round.
Yeah, I agree with Crute. I'm not impressed with Bukauskas at all. Can't say his name either, but yeah, I'm just not impressed with him at all. You know, in 2016, he had 2 losses. He lost both of them within the first 2 minutes. Since then, he went on a 7-fight run. But if you watch those fights, every single fight is the exact same. He gets taken down very easily, multiple times. He ends up getting his way back to his feet, and he has great power, and he knocks the guy out. But it's just not it's just not a reliable path to victory at the elite level. You know, his takedown defense just isn't there. And even when you watch his latest fight, I'm not gonna be able to say that guy's name either. Michalitis. He stepped up on short notice, was up a weight class, and it was a very competitive bout. And then there was some weird elbows and the cage door open. I don't know if you've seen it, but the guy falls on the cage door. It was really weird. But I don't that fight was even competitive for as long as it lasted. And then you look at Crute. Crute's 24 years old. Big and strong for the weight class, knockout power, knocked out Sam Alvey, got a winner on the Contender Series by knockout, has super good wrestling, good double leg, ended up, he didn't out wrestle Paul Craig, but he out grappled him, that's for sure. It's black belt in BJJ. And yeah, I just think with Bukauskas' poor takedown defense and how good Crute is, it's going to be a very easy victory for Crute.
Yeah, it's a shame for this one. I mean, I've spoken to Modestas loads of times. I've interacted with him with a lot, and I tend to back the fighters that I interview. And I've got nothing but respect for Modestas, but he's probably the first one I'm going to go against in this one. I don't know on paper how he gets this one done. I mean, I've watched him in his Cage Warrior days. He was the former light heavyweight champion. He's very impressive in his Cage Warrior days. And unfortunately, like you two boys are saying, you are totally right. When I've watched him in the Cage Warrior fights, that one thing is certainly a standout, his takedown defense. Eventually, you will take him down. But in the striking department, he's very far superior. He loves to mix up his stances and loves to switch style. And he certainly has the knockout power there. And like you boys said, he's very big for his weight class, as is Jimmy Crute. I believe Modestas is 6'3". He's got a great reach. So his striking department is there. It's just whether or not he can keep the fight standing. I genuinely don't see it happening. He's trained with John Jones a couple of times with Modestas. He's trained under Jackson Wink, and that certainly sort of helped him get that momentum back, because he was on the 2-fight losing streak, or he lost 2 fights, went to Jackson Wink, and then certainly, built his career back up, won the title, and he thoroughly deserved the shot at the UFC tenure. But this is certainly a big test for him in this fight. I mean, he only just beat Andreas Michailidis on his first debut, which is a bit of a weird stoppage, as you touched upon, Scott, with the cage opening. It was certainly weird, and it's good to win in your UFC debut, but to go from a guy like Andreas, who's predominantly a middleweight, to Jimmy Crute, that's a big step up in competition. It's a very big ask for Modestas to get the job done. And as soon as Jimmy Crute gets the fight to the floor, because he will, because as his boys said, his takedown defense is just not up to scratch. And for a guy like Jimmy Crute, once he gets the fight to the floor, he's going to get the submission. And unfortunately, I'm going to go for a Jimmy Crute via second round submission, which pains me to say that because I love Modestas. He's certainly got the potential, but I just think the level and the step up in competition is just going to be too much for him. And I think